Sweet. Yeah.
Are you going to go check out any panels or walk the floor at all?
We have time. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just being, dragged to, the next thing.
What have you most enjoyed about working on the show so far, and what do you think audiences are going to like about what has shot that we haven't seen?
What I most enjoy about the show? For me, the world that has been created, and what is sort of able to happen in the 100, like all the options and the possibilities are so endless and very creative. I just love, the dark stories that the writers come up with, and how shocking they are, some of them, and kind of groundbreaking, having a little girl stab another guy that you thought was the lead of the show, so there's certain things that are refreshing to read as an actor, these surprises in a script, so it's cool to be a part of something that surprises you and also draws you in as an audience member, I really love shooting in the woods and getting really dirty and just running and screaming and fighting. There's just so much. There's so much dark material and fun stuff to play with it's been a blast. And then for stuff that we shot that people could be interested in, every episode for me just felt like it got more and more intense, and the stakes are higher and higher, and that's something that's really cool for a show, because sometimes you need a breather, but this is just like the stakes are just raised and raised and raised, and we're introduced to more and more things that we never knew about. And that's what I think is so cool about the show, is the options and the possibilities of Earth, kind of endless. There's more out there than we ever knew. We don't know much. It's just so far we only know this camp in the woods, and then there's grounders out there. We don't know much about them, so we're gonna find out about them, and then whatever else is out there.
So with your character, I think we see the quickest growth from the first episode where he gets attacked, and then he comes back and he seems to be a completely different person now. Can you tell me a little bit about how you went about it as an actor, changing your character?
One of the main things for me was making Jasper as lovable and lighthearted and funny as possible, so that when he got speared, it would really suck. And after he gets speared, we really see a switch. The fear, the post-traumatic stress disorder, all this stuff starts to kick in. And for me, it was really just playing it as serious as possible to Jasper. He's afraid, he's in a shell. So for me, I was just playing it all in a shell. I don't want to, when there was the fight going on, I don't want to be a part of the action. It's kind of about like stepping back and kind of just being a part of it on the outside, So I think, that's fun to play, but Jasper kind of gets tired of that too. I think there's so many things going on that he really needs to step up and take action, because there's people he cares about out there that he needs to fight for.
We're going to see him. Are we ever going to see him take on a more active role where he becomes a more warrior setting?
This Wednesday is going to be a big one for Jasper, because he episode 6, Octavia's missing, and that's his one drive, really. It's the one thing he cares about almost more than himself and his life. So he's going to go out into the darkness and with Bellamy and try and find Octavia. Last time he was on an excursion, he got speared. So it's going to be an interesting trip for him. We're going to see him, really take a chance, even if that means, get killed. And then down the line, I think, the stakes are raised and tension's higher, and Jasper needs to take even more action. So we'll see him really step out of his shell again, which is nice.
So Jasper was kind of the character that
by like the end of the first episode, people were already so in love with him. It was like, no, he can't be dead. People were freaking out when he got speared at the end. So what do you think it is about Jasper that just really stood out to people? And
for me, is that he's kind of the comedic relief, the charm. You know, he's this endearing guy that isn't taking things as seriously as, you know, say Clark, who's trying to, you know, the whole weight of the world is on her shoulders, and everyone else has such high stakes and high intensity, you know, and they're very serious, and it's fun to just have this one guy who's just having a good time amongst that very serious world. So for me, it was just sort of playing that, you know, that comedy, but still keeping it real because everyone else is having a lot of dramatic issues. So I think that's why he's so lovable. You know, he's just an endearing, fun guy, and he's doing stuff not for himself, but for others. You know, he went on the excursion because, you know, Mount Weather, need to go get supplies and believes in Clark, and then went across the Vine because he's in love with Octavia and wants to impress her. So he takes. I think it's also just the leaps of you know, courage that he takes. You know, it's crazy. He's crazy for doing some of the stuff he does. But yeah, he was supposed to die. That's why I was actually supposed to die, and then I just played him. I wanted him to be so loved that when he died, it sucked, and then it sucked too much, so we decided to not kill him. Yeah.
The power of positive thinking. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted him to die. I was like, this is so cool that you're killing off the most, you know, funny guy, you know. But I was very happy to be back in the
Is that
in
a
the
true
action
story?
as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were only supposed to be in one episode?
Yeah, it was a guest star role. And then as it was going, they were like, oh, this is going to really suck when we kill you. I'm like, I know, that's my job. And eventually, yeah, we just didn't want to kill off Jasper. So I was like, I was game for that because I loved the world they created. And I knew where they were going to be taking it to. It just gets so dark and gritty, which is refreshing for the CW.
Did that change anything? Bringing Jasper back, did that change the dynamics at all? Or
I'm sure for the writers it changed a few dynamics, yeah, and for the show. For me, I don't know. I was just fighting to, you know, make sure Jasper was a prominent force in whatever was happening, because I think you need that guy still there who brings a little light to the dark situation. Yeah.
So we know Jasper's part of the 100. Are we going to get a little bit of a backstory on, you know, his past on the Ark and why he's there, or is it more?
I mean, they hinted at it in the first episode that, you know, he stole some herbs with Monty and they forgot to replace what they took. Sumac's not the only herb in the garden, I think the line was, or whatever, but we do see. In this new episode, we do see a flashback to how his first interaction with Octavia, so that's really cool. It's still a little bit of a mystery, though, his past. Season 2.
So where's the Jasper-Octavia relationship going?
I mean, it's interesting. It's a brutal struggle for Jasper, I think. You know, she's just so wild and free. She's a free soul, and it's hard to lock her down. And I think that's why Jasper likes her so much too, though, is that she's this courageous girl as well, and he strives to be like that. But we're definitely going to see him, you know, fighting for her love. And yeah, it's a difficult one to lock down, that Octavia.
So I'm curious. I actually watched the next 2 episodes yesterday during a screening, and I was wondering if you could give me a little bit of a hint on what's going to happen with Jasper and Octavia and the Grounder that's been introduced. Is there going to be, I mean, I feel like there's definitely going to be a change in dynamic.
Yes.
Can you give me a little insight before?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how to word this. Yeah, I mean, Octavia, might be forming a relationship that is not with Jasper. And that's kind of a soul crusher. And I think it's frustrating too because of the amount that Jasper's done to try and save her, or what he's done for her, to impress her. So I think we'll really see that sort of take a toll on him as well. Love is a battlefield, and so is Earth. Literally, like, we're just going to be battling a lot. So, I don't know what I can say to that.
He goes to a darker place.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cheers.